Hey guys, how's it going? My bad. Didn't notice you guys answered. Alright, so nothing has really happened yet. Just playing through and letting it fall into our hands. This is Monday, January 13th. And so far, this is Friday's fixed volume range profile. This is the 1 hour SIBI, so bearish fair value gap, right in the OTE zone. We've opened Asia on Sunday, and we've traded lower. We took Friday's low, and so far we've only had an Asia range Q2 manipulation, as well as this London Q3, which we did get this London Q2. And then I just marked out this London Q3 because it basically was a retracement into that. And so now I'm just waiting to see if we get a bullish CSD here to possibly take us higher into OT. Let me know if you guys have any questions. Otherwise, just gonna keep playing it. Nothing has happened so far in the sense that we could take a trade for this model specifically. Okay, so the reason I say we haven't taken a trade yet is because we have a Q2 manipulation, Q2, and Q4, so no Q3s yet that have offered us a trade for the framework. Alright, so we have a Q3 here for New York. AM session, in which we came down to this Q4. We swept out all of Q1 and Q2 and Q3, so solid Q3 manipulation. Pull up this deviation here, and so far we have an SPS terms of a 1, 2, 3. So I don't know what the 4 or 5 is going to look like, but it would have to sweep this, which is obviously pretty deep. We'll see if it ends up flipping these zones or not. I'll just delete this one. And yeah, because the first break of structure doesn't happen until up here, so this is definitely 1 and 2. Yeah, this is 2 because 3 breaks 1. Okay, so we shall see. And I'll just pull up OTE on this. Alright, so we can take the trade as early as this. Yeah. So 50% is here, it's in the zone. So that's eligible to be taken as long as it meets the R. We'd be targeting 1.5 R at a minimum. Standard deviations, 1.5 deviations, I mean. As a minimum, it's over 1 R, we're good to go. I'm just gonna make multiple entries for the rest of them. Oh, you know what? I'm lying. A lot of moving parts. Okay, I actually can't take a trade unless we sweep 2. So we may miss this opportunity. Yeah. Oh, still no sweep of 2. Okay, so here's what I'm thinking here. Wait. 1, 2. No, okay. Yeah. So I'm trying to see if a new SBS is forming. Because this is obvious and aggressive, right? But this would only be 1 and 2 without a new 3, without a 3. Yeah, that's rough. So we would have gotten all of these entries if we weren't requiring SBS. But per the model, we are requiring SBS. Alright, and there's RTP with hitting 3. Let's see if it gets all the way up to 1.5. Again, this is just a missed opportunity because it doesn't meet the entire criteria. Doesn't mean we change the criteria, it just means that we missed a trade. Okay, so it only hits 3, it doesn't go all the way up to 1.5. We're in Q2 now. We possibly have a new manipulation happening here. This is Q2 of London, technically. And this is Q2 of PM session. Alright, invalidated. We are still in Q2. We're approaching the end of the day here. This looks like it could be an accumulation to reach that 1.5 now. $20 more minutes. Okay. There, yeah. So this idea was right from down here with the Q3 AM session manipulation. Just this zone here. But again, it just didn't meet the criteria due to lack of SBS entries. So we're looking out of these zones. We're looking for a formation like this, a break of structure, a pullback, a continuation, a run on buy stops, and then you know, just another swing low to form before we take the long. So in this case, what I had in mind was 1, 2, 3. We never got this sweep of 2. Considering that this idea might be wrong, the only other SBS I could have considered is here. So 1, 2. It would actually be this 2, and then 3 once we sweep 1. So just lack of SBS there, but the overall framework, aside from the entry criteria, was solid. All right, so no entries on Monday. Now we move forward to Tuesday. Just gonna play through until 1800. As always, if you guys have any questions, feel free to drop them in the chat. So previous day closed bearish. No, it closed bullish. One second, where's the open? Oh no, it did close. It closed bearish because the daily open at 6 p.m. is here, and we closed there. So although this is a reversal candle, we can see on the daily here, this is what it looks like. We swept the low and didn't close below it. It didn't close bullish entirely. So we're still using a bearish framework technically. This being previous day high, previous day low. We then mark fixed range volume profile because we already have bearish OTE marked out. All right, and then we open immediately taking previous day high. So now that we've taken previous day high. We're looking to get back into EQ of previous day. I want to go to the hourly to see if there are any obvious PD arrays. So we have this inversion here right at EQ. And this fair value gap nested inside of it. I'll just mark both of them. So on the 1 hour chart, I'm really only marking fair value gaps. I'm not marking any other PD arrays. All right, so we've reached previous day high. We will see what plays out. We have our first manipulation occurring here if it holds. Change day delivery happening at this low. So this is Q1. Alright, we've closed below a few times now. So we have 1, 2, our pullback. We have 3. 1, 2, 3. 4, 5 would look like this if a bearish model plays out here. Keeps going. All right, we're approaching now the 10 p.m. candle. So far, we only have a Q1 manipulation. All right, so here's a possible Q3 manipulation here. We have this price action going down, this leg down, and we get a strong close. Oops, just delete it. We get this strong close here. We reached 0.5 to 1 deviation. I would have been more convinced if we got down to 1 to 1.5, but we'll see. So this is a potential Q3 manipulation. We just want to see that it does close the high, this high here. Today is Saturday, right? I'm not streaming on the wrong day or anything. Today is Saturday. Yep, today is Saturday. Okay. All right, so see, we get the retest of Q3. Nice reactions here. We want to see that. Again, SPS in this case to me would be 1. Pull back 2. We want to see a confirm 3. I like that 2 is also above EQ of the manipulation zone. And then a 4 or 5 ideally for a bullish model. But in the scenario that we get a bullish model, we definitely want to see the closure above this high. Or else if it starts failing anywhere before the high, we're at risk of getting stopped out. Alright, so we didn't get the 3. Bullish idea is wrong. So bearish idea could still be playing out here, although we didn't get the sweep of 2 yet. Alright, so we have a new 2 is what it is. 1, 2. We need, in order for 2 to be confirmed, we need 3 to sweep 1. Which it's refusing to do. There we go. Okay, so now we have a 3. Oops. 1, 2, 3. Sweeping the 1, taking Asia high. 4, 5 here. It has to sweep 2. It is pretty risky here because we're still consolidating between 2 manipulation zones that are currently holding, meaning the high of this bearish manipulation zone is holding and the low of this bullish manipulation zone is holding. Again, because we closed bearish the previous day, we are technically following the bearish narrative more, but we know from yesterday's price action that this is essentially a reversal candle almost. It would have been more convincing if it closed the open entirely and it closed bullish, but it did close bearish technically, so the bearish narrative is still possible to play out, and we follow daily closures. All right, so 3 is continuing to make new 3s. From here, we would pull up OTE from 1 to 3. Now again, this bearish SBS that was in play, we had a 1, 2, 3, okay, and then 4, 5 here. So both of them are possible to play out now. We just sit on our hands. We just wait. So we did sweep 2 for this bearish one. If it starts to fail here, right, which is what I mentioned was failing this high, we're also in 1 to 1.5 deviations. If it starts to fail here and we have a bearish change in state of delivery, that could be a clear sign that this bearish model is going to play out. Once it hits 3, the SBS is technically complete, but 1.5 is where we would be targeting. For this one specifically here, this bullish one, if it gets down to here and then we get a bullish CSD, then we can actually take this trade because it's originating from a Q3 manipulation zone. This one we can't take. We're just following the narrative because it's a Q1 manipulation zone. And this is, again, it's not that we can't take it in real life. You can absolutely trade it. It's just that we're specifically testing Q3 manipulations. Alright, so this bearish model is aiming for 3. That's where it wants to get to if it's 3. If it's bearish, I mean. For here, we have yet to sweep 2 still for this bullish one. And it made a new bullish leg. So bearish one, this still could be 4, and this still could be 5, and nothing happens, we just wait. We're in Q2 now, Q3 here. Let's see if we get a new manipulation zone. Okay, so bullish model plays out again. 1, 2, 3. We don't really get, we don't get an opportunity to enter again because of SBS. I'm trying to see here if this is, these are exact same lows. 25. Oh, this swept this low. There was no break here. Here. Sorry, I'm deleting the wrong thing. There was no break here, right? Break a structure, because you want to break a swing high for that 1 to occur. But I'm thinking maybe lower time frame there was. So 1, 2, 3. This could have been 4 and 5 here, but it's just not apparent on our 5 minute So this could be a 1 minute SBS, for example. Yeah, I imagine here there's probably a swing high in here on the 1 minute that's breaking. We'll go take a look just so you guys can see the fractal nature of it. Yeah, so see here, this swing high that it broke. This is that 1. Pull back 2, 3, come back and sweep 4, and then 5. Again, doesn't matter to us. We just missed the trade. Q3 is what we wanted. Just higher highs really from here. I mean higher lows from here. Alright, so we flipped this guy. Asia Q1. We're in Q3. Still. We're approaching Q4. We need to break this low in order to have a bearish change state delivery. Although we've only reached 3 deviations, so I would expect it to go higher before it goes lower. Sweep the low. Okay, now we see SD. Took a while, but now it's there. And now we're approaching, now we're in the 6 a.m. candle. And we have, unfortunately, a Q1 change of state delivery here, because this is when it occurred. Okay, I'm gonna watch this here, but what I'm watching is 1, 2, 3, because it never came back, right? So I want to see if this low possibly holds. It's very, very close. It doesn't look like it to me. It looks like we've opened the day, we've manipulated the highs, and now we're changing state of delivery to continuous bearish, right? Because we swept previous day high now. We've opened high, and we're likely going to get a low close. So I anticipate this is going to be invalidated here, but I think that it's possible. I could always be wrong, right? So, but I think this is definitely, looks pretty strong to me. We're probably going to play out into previous day low, or go towards it at least, if not fully close it by end of day. Okay, so low's broken immediately, so now this bullish idea is out the window. And the reason that it's not even an option to take is because we reached 1.5 before returning to the zone. Like, it didn't give us the SBS entry or the entry criteria what we wanted before hitting 1.5. 1.5 is our first target, so if we achieve it before we are even able to get an entry, the trade idea is invalidated as per the rules on the sheet right here. So trade idea invalidated if 1.5 is achieved before return to the zone. We have just swept Asia and London. We are inside Asia. We're inside Asia, which is here. And we're inside London. If we stay in this area, this is the ICT profile known as Seek and Destroy. It's still tradable, in my opinion. It's actually even easier to trade. Okay, so never mind. We continue down anyway. So we're at 1 to 1.5. If this is counter trend, this is where it's going to turn around. We're also in 1 to 1.5 of the original manipulation that started the day. So both of these are Q1s. I haven't, when I'm not labeling them, that means that these are manipulation zones that we cannot trade. I'm only labeling the Q3 manipulation zones to remind myself that this is the narrative that we're following. So We have yet to have another Q3 form, another Q3 manipulation form. Oh, okay then. So this is an 8:30 news candle on Tuesday, January 14th. I'm assuming it's CPI or JOLTS. Let's see. PPI. I was wrong on both sides. PPI. Alright, so we're back in the zone. Seek and destroy confirmed. We've swept Q3. We have this clear Q2 manipulation now, so far, from PPI. We want to see if a Q3 possibly forms for us. So this would be the Q3 manipulation in my opinion. This one here. One, two, three. Let's see what happens. Interesting. It flipped. So this is bearish now. Q3 AM. Excuse me. Alright, so we want to see this fail if for Q3 to be the actual manipulation. Return to the zone here. Alright, this isn't looking good. We've flipped this here. So Q2 manipulation still holding. And this could be an accumulation manipulation down to distribute higher. Oh, this is tricky because it's playing around previous day high. It's holding all of the manipulation zone. So we're still, this is very much seek and destroy. So see this area here. This is the original Asia manipulation Q1. This is Asia's Q3, right? We're right in between both of these still, which is what we've been trading around and through this entire time. And then even the manipulation zone that was created during London and then again during New York, we're bouncing in between. So this is actually classic seek and destroy. Okay. So we have a 1. This is clear, right? No confusion here. We have a 1, 2, 3. Now, are we going to have a 4 or 5 come all the way back up here? I think that's unlikely. Yeah. So we went to EQ. Our target for the day is achieved, basically. Well, let's see if we get all the way into EQ, but that's where we wanted to get to after sweeping previous day high. Okay, EQ achieved. Alright, so now let's just see if we can get a Q3 manipulation in PM session. So this was invalidated. This still held. These are our Q3s that did play out. Let's mark out our standard deviations from this one. We have yet to reach 2. This is Q1 so far. Another zone we can't take. Wow, what a pump. All right, so we're approaching we're in the 2 p.m. candle now. We have a Q1 that we've expanded from. So 1, 2, 3. Again, another scenario that it is unlikely that it returns, and here it goes, it returns. Okay, it invalidates it entirely. So now this Q1 goes to Q2 here. Let's see what Q3 presents us with. Okay, we're done for the day, unfortunately. Okay, so another day of no entries that played out for the Q3 model specifically, or coming from the Q3 manipulation. Pretty brutal. In the sense that, again, we're just failing to get SBS. This is actually interesting to see though, because I didn't anticipate that we would miss so many entries due to SBS. All right, so again, OTE is bearish because we closed bearish on the day. We are marking out previous day high to previous day low, fixed range volume profile. We pop into the 1 hour to see if there are any obvious PD arrays in the form of imbalances. So we have this inversion up here, and we have this obvious volume imbalance here. That's really it. And they are sort of capping this OTE zone with the volume imbalance creating the bottom, and the BPR creating the inverse creating the top. And we're at them right now, interestingly enough. I want to see the daily chart without revealing information to myself. I'm going to play it back to 1655. Yep. Let's look at the daily. Okay, so yeah, this is how the daily closed. So we had the previous day form this reversal candle, but it was still a bearish close. It would have been a reversal if we closed bullish, right? Or like a true reversal candle would have been a candle that swept the low and closed bullish. So in this case here, we've reached up into this daily SIBI now on this previous day, and we indeed closed bearish. So I'm just aiming for previous day low, really, which is generally speaking my everyday target. Alright, and we're already starting in OTE, so it can form anywhere from here, really. And, oh, sorry. Let me put this back on the chart. This is previous day's Q2 PM session manipulation zone. Again, we can't take a trade out of it, but we're just marking it to follow the narrative out of it. Wow, this is brutal, to say the least. Really tight consolidation. Oh, give me a second, guys. I'm gonna have some coffee. Wow, so really tight consolidation still. Nothing special happening. This is though, yeah, we have CPI coming up. So this is expected, honestly, in the price action before before CPI preceding a wild PPI day. This is actually, I think, pretty expansive for a PPI. All right, so we've traded below EQ. We've returned to it. Nothing else has happened so far. London is currently inside of Asia. When I'm trading London, what I want to see is the liquidation of Asia before I even take a trade. All right, so if we get a closure above this high, we have a Q3 manipulation. If we get it. All right, so there it is. Finally, a Q3 manipulation on the week. Q3 London. So the break of structure doesn't happen here until here, because we're just sweeping it so far. I mean, yeah, that's a nice confirmation there. So 1 is all that's happened. Here's our 2. Well, we don't have a confirmed 2 until we have 3. All right, there's our 3. So we have 1. High is 951.75, 951.75. So same exact levels. 1 with a pullback to 2 and 3 here. So to get a 4 or 5, we would want 2 to be swept. I like so far that we have an Asia range consolidation and London is manipulating the low. Yeah, nothing yet. Trade continues higher. Alright, so we're approaching the 6 a.m. candle soon. Still no sweep of 2. Alright, there's 6 a.m. here. So I would, it doesn't look like it's going to happen now because once we sweep 3, we get a 6. Or, you know, that's basically the target being met. But if it somehow fails here and we get a sweep of 2 at the beginning of this 4-hour candle, then this could be the expansion that takes us back into the higher part of the OTE zone. So we can either get into this inversion or we can sweep this entire volume imbalance, or basically fill it, right? But this high right here is PM session high. So from Asia or London, PM session liquidity is high probability. That's basically like the usual suspect target. So after London sweeps some sort of Asia liquidity, technically, like, or the next target from there would be PM session liquidity. Three is swept. And up it goes. This is interesting. I've never seen so many reps get missed because of SBS not forming. It's just all a bunch of failure swings with higher lows being created. I definitely want Adrian to look over this video to make sure I'm doing everything correct. So there's PM session already tagged. And this is, yes, PM session Q2. Delete this guy. Q3 holding so far. Let's see what manipulation forms during, for the 6 a.m. candle. We have so far only Q2. Okay, there's CPI. Alright, so CPI closes above previous day high again. So this is 2 times now, or this is the second day in a row in which previous day high is taken. The previous day, although we swept previous day high, we closed lower. So this time we've actually we've taken previous day high again, and we want to see if we do get that closure above or not. So we have Q3 London that held but didn't offer us an opportunity that we could take. I'm trying to see if I read SBS wrong here, but I can't say that I did. The only other thing, I did 1 to here. Sweep of 2 is what we needed. Yeah, the only thing would be this 1, 2, 3, and then maybe this was the sweep of 2, right? And again, you guys saw that basically whenever you're closing like a fair value gap on the higher time frame, like this 5 minute, on a 1 minute there's usually a swing high in here. So let me just mark this out so you guys can see what I'm talking about. So like this is something that, you know, if you can't already do it, you're gonna learn how to do it with time. But basically, oh, hold on a second, 5 and then 6 here. You'll learn how to kind of see the lower time frame from the higher time frame and vice versa, right? So here, what I'm saying is, if this is the SBS that actually played out in this case, there's more than likely a 1 minute swing high in this area. So let's just drop down to the 1 minute to see if my thought is correct. So yeah, so this swing high right here is the high that's broken. And generally speaking, when there is a fair value gap, right, we have this inversion happening here. What creates the low of that fair value gap is usually a swing high on your lower time frame. So see this high right here that we broke, that creates the high or the low of this 5 minute fair value gap. So unfortunately, another scenario where on our current chart that SBS is not forming, it ends up being a 1 minute SBS in this scenario instead. So we have 1 breaking structure, 2 with the pullback, 3, 4, 5 coming to sweep out 2, and then the target of 6 sweeping out 3. I'm happy to see though, you know, some missed reps, because there's always a suspicion, or for the 5 minute chart specifically, you know, if you're waiting for a setup that has so many variables for the criteria, is if like, are you going to actually be able to take that trade or not, or get a trade every single day. So Adrian and I, when we were going over the rules for this model, we discussed like what we're aiming for as far as how many setups per week or per day for it to be, you know, I don't know, feasible or something that people can actually do realistically. And we agreed as long as there's at least 1 good setup per day, then it's good to go. And so far we're already on Wednesday and we haven't had a single trade play out for the week due to SBS failing on the 5 minute chart. And this would be the first week that we get this phenomenon, because here so far for all the reps that we've traded, we've been able to get at least one trade every day. Oh wow, we're actually on our 5th day of no trades because we don't have a Thursday or a Friday trade. And I know for sure that I finished that week out this week. Hold on, let me just go back and check here. The 10th. Okay, I accidentally marked the 10th as a Wednesday, and it's actually a Friday. Okay, there we go. Okay, so never mind, just 3 days. And then we missed a trade on Thursday, or we didn't have a trade play out on Thursday. Alright, so again, we're above previous day high. We have this Q3. Alright, and so far again for SBS we have 1, 2, 3, and 4, 5. Again, the most ideal setup for me when it comes to SBS, like the most obvious A+ setup is when you have OTE here and 2 is actually above 50%. That's the most ideal setup. And then the zone basically makes up only OTE. That'd be the most ideal setup to me. It's okay if it comes up to here as well. But when 2 is lingering above EQ of the entire expansion up, you basically have liquidity paired with discount, right? So this is the most ideal setup to me. And then we normally come back and sweep 2 in the form of just like the normal OTE entry. This is the universal golden pocket retracement level for all disciplines or all concepts in trading. And then your 5 will generally be 7.705 or 0.79. Again, there's been a lot of discussion between Frieden and Adrian and myself and Adrian about the 0.79 level being like the best entry, or like the entry that we all really want to wait for to get into this model. And then we're just targeting here. Once we get any of this OTE zone, we're then targeting 3 for SBS 6. So this here is the most A+ setup that can form, in a very crude depiction. Alright, so let's just finish up this day. Alright, so the low that we're waiting to break here is this one, for a sweep, for SBS to play out. Alright, there's that sweep. I'm gonna now pull up our deviations first. Then I'll pull up OTE. Alright, so for me, as an individual trader, once previous day high or low is taken, I'm honestly done trading for the day. Here especially because we took previous day high before the day even started. Unless we have like a clear manipulation higher in which we've retested previous day high and now we're trading higher, or we've shifted below previous day high and now we're trading lower, like very obvious, nothing ambiguous about it, then I will continue to trade it, because then I can at least take it back to EQ, or I can take it into whatever 3-day target is in the midst, right? So if, for example, we've taken previous day high but there's the next high is 2-day high, or the next high is, so see, we've already taken 2-day high as well, so then 3 is the 9th, the 8th is next, so the 8th is here and we're very, very close to it. So there's still some sort of 1 second, trade VC, there's still some sort of liquidity that I can target, right? Or some sort of, so in ICT's realm, when we're referring to previous day high, we're actually referring to the previous 3-day highs. So if your immediate previous day high was taken, although that is the lowest hanging fruit, you can always aim for your 2-day high or your 3-day high, right? So we've already taken both 1 and 2. So for me to want to trade higher is becoming much lower and lower probability, for me to want to be in this trade. Now, trade VC Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4, these are just dividing up time into quarters. So this is known as quarterly theory, as taught by many individuals in the trading space now, but it's basically a 90-minute quarter for this 5-minute chart that we're trading. The quarter will last, for example, this Q3 is going to be from 9 a.m. to 10:30. So each quarter is 90 minutes in itself, with every full cycle, let's say, being 3 hours. So it's just to split up the time in which a specific action is more than likely to occur. So Q1 is known for accumulation. Q2 is where that manipulation can occur. Q3 can either be a manipulation or a distribution, and then Q4 is also a distribution, or a reversal. So again, Q1 accumulation, Q2 manipulation, Q3 manipulation or distribution, Q4 distribution or reversal. Okay, yeah, no worries. This indie specifically is Josh Yu's rendition of it, and it's based on Trader Days 90-minute cycles. He also has CLS here. I forget what time that shifts it to, but yeah, it's the same thing. Yeah, exactly. Accumulation so that's how Trader Day teaches it, but when you backtest it yourself, you know that the X, it was usually, generally speaking, is always going to be another distribution or reversal. So X is the reason he puts it as X is because it can be either or, right? So what we found in our own backtesting is that the manipulation is actually more than likely to occur during Q3, and I'll just show you the data for that really quick. But whenever you're looking at other people's stuff, no matter who it is or what they're telling you, even myself, for example, even though my name is Backtest Jess, you always want to backtest it yourself, because they might be form fitting, which I'm very gung-ho about not form fitting in backtesting, and there's a fine line between form fitting and actually testing the data. So you want to backtest the data in a way that allows you to read this realistically in live price action, right? So here is the data that we've collected so far. So Q3, 61% of the time in London, 51% of the time in New York, and in Asia is the only time Q3 is not more than likely to be the manipulation. It's actually Q2. So in New York, it's actually only about half the time, but as you can see, compared to the other quarters, half the time is significantly higher. And then London, high probability Q3. And then from whatever manipulation is forming, from all the manipulations collectively, 2 to 2.5 standard deviations is 80 to 70% likely to occur in all of the sessions, with 1 to 1.5, or 1 obviously being 100%, and then 1.5 being 90%, which is why 1.5 is our very first target. So again, you always want to backtest everything, no matter who's saying what. You don't just take their word for it based on this model that they're giving you, because it could just be a model that they tested 30 reps on and called it a model. Yeah, so Trade VC, Notion is gonna be my top go, because there's a lot more you can do with it. The sheet that I just showed you is used with Google Forms. So stick to the plan. What I can do is I can give you my... Oh, great. Thank you. I'm glad that you watched it. I can give you the template from that video. Does that work for you? And then you can adjust it according to, you know, whatever model you're backtesting, or if you want to backtest this. We actually have a video on where we created the template for this, so you can kind of follow that video if you want. Okay, perfect. So my blind, where is the template? It's not that one. I'm losing it here. Did I accidentally delete the template? Hold on a second. Should be on my bento. And it is not. Okay, hold on a second. I think I might have accidentally deleted it. Let's look in the trash. Not there. Okay, let me just Alright. Pause here, guys. We're gonna take a second to make a new template, because I want it to be proper. So this is the one that I will duplicate. Here, I'll share this one for now. This is kind of this is some inspiration to what I've created. Let me edit this guy. That one is from, this simple trading tracker is from Sir Pickle. Let me do backtest just Kingline. Which I thought I already had. Hold on a second. Let me search our Discord. So that's not it. That's the one we're testing. Oh, wow. I think I know what I did. Yeah, that's hilarious. Okay. So I accidentally used my original template and changed it into the 4-hour expansion model sheet. That is so unfortunate. I've shared this link with so many people. Oops, that's a big oops. Okay, here we go. I'm gonna have to create a new template here. So just give me a second. I will just make sure everything is, you know, Kingline branded here. And oh, that hurts. That really, really hurts. Okay, I'm not gonna be able to, I'm just gonna remove the cover. Okay. And let me just double check one more thing. Okay. I will also remove this guy. Oof. That was a big, big oops on my end. I'm talking about like 15,000 people have the link for this 4-hour model. Oh, that hurts. That hurts. That hurts. Okay. So here, so the directions on how to use the sheet are up here. And basically you can edit all of these to be whatever you want. Stick to the plan. Obviously, I'm at your disposal, right? So if you want to meet with me or you want to have a one-on-one with me, to specify this to your own model, then obviously let me know, and then I'm glad to have a one-on-one with you within the Discord for everyone to watch, and we can set it up for you specifically. Here's the actual mine. I'm gonna have to create the stuff for this. Oh, that's painful. All right, guys. I think I'm actually gonna call it here. We've only been backtesting for about an hour, but